Okay, actually LEI was at the end of a long track that began when I returned back from my experience as a postdoc at MIT. I had the chance to purchase a brand new LC-MS instrument, and it was at the beginning of the 90s, and the state of the art of the LC-MS was particle beam interface. So it was a system that used the EI as a ionization technique, but the performance was low, poor response with water in the mobile phase. So I became involved in improving the performance of this system, because we were working with the small molecules, and I entered officially the world of instrument development, and then it was a long track with different prototypes, different applications, and finally 2 years ago we came out with this new technique that we called liquid EI. I think the key word is simplicity, because the liquid EI, differently from other approaches, is a very simple system placed outside of the ion source. It's a kind of add-on to the mass spectrometer equipped with the EI source, and because of the simplicity, is also very robust. And because of that, the sensitivity is quite good, and can be run for routine application as well. First of all, because of the EI, it's a system that offers library searchable spectra. So you can identify your compounds using a very reliable electronic library like the NIST. The same thing you can do with the GC-MS, but from LC compounds. And then another important aspect is that we don't have matrix effects, because of gas phase ionization. So in all cases, when you have coeluting compounds, or even you can introduce your sample directly into the ion source without any preliminary separation, you can still detect your target analytes. So it's very different from the existing commercially available interfaces we know. So when we get rid of the particle beam interface, in the year 2000 we developed a new system that we call direct EI. There was the direct coupling of a nano LC column with a conventional EI source. But all the interfacing mechanism took place inside the EI source. When we developed the LEI, we thought to move everything, all the action outside of the ion source, to have more freedom in the control the interfacing mechanism. So it was difficult at the beginning to reproduce the same environment outside. So we had to deal with different geometries, different materials, but finally we came out with the right solution, I think. Most of the GC-MS world relies on electron ionization, and use stainless steel ion source or material, because the GC-MS is already in the gas phase. In our case, we have to convert a sample which is dissolved in a solvent into the gas phase. So the nature of the surface is quite important. And the stainless steel is not the right material because it has a kind of activity. So we tested the different materials, and we found that the ceramic shows the best performance. It's the same material used on frying pan, no sticking pan. And this is the same reason why we have the advantages in the use of LEI, because we put the sample on the surface and goes immediately in the gas phase. Any areas where the small molecules are involved, even with or without the column. And for example, we have a big collaboration with industries, pharmaceutical industries, or industries involved in agrochemical compounds, pesticides. And they have the problem that they cannot solve everything with the electrospray. There are some molecules that do not ionize well with electrospray, for example, non-polar compounds. So we can fill the gap between the classic LC-MS interface and GC-MS, and offering a unique tool for application that cannot be solved in a different way. I think this is a good question because it's a new project in which we use membranes to introduce the sample directly into the ion source. Membranes are very useful to sample liquid of different nature, and we have an acceptor phase that continuously flow into the membrane and collects the compatible analytes coming from the sample, and they are transported immediately to the ion source for the detection. Because we don't have matrix effects, so we can detect all the analytes that simultaneously arrive into the ion source. And this is a very big advantage for a rapid screening of liquid sample. We really hope to have something that will be available in the market. So we are collaborating with instrument manufacturers to have something that can be used from any perspective in an additional tool in the LC-MS market. We are very ahead of schedule in this at this moment, and we have a big collaboration with Agilent Technologies on this field, and we really hope to have something ready maybe next year.